Hey guys, I'm out here at the bee yard today, and today I want to talk about inline hives. What are inline hives and the different types? An inline hive is basically a hive where the frames, instead of going like this, they go like this, end to end. And an inline hive is the type of hive I developed, but they're not unique. I think this design using Langstroth frames, I think this is the first type of inline hive using Langstroth, but there are some other type of inline hives in other countries that use different kinds of frames. In Russia, there's one called the Monk Hive. And it uses a frame that's similar in size to a Langstroth frame. It's a long box. It's more similar to one of these over here. It's a long box and it's divided with a frame rest, and the frames go front to back instead of side to side. My first version was something like this one right here, which was just two 10-frame boxes on a shared bottom board. And it worked good enough that I started devising different ways to make it a little bit better. Something I found that if you make in this shared wall between the two boxes, if you make that with a bunch of holes in it, the bees will go to the back box easier and faster. That also gives you an opportunity, a good place to put a queen excluder, so that your front box can be for brood and your back box or back chamber could be for honey. And that works really well. So the next version of this is this type of hive here, which still uses the Langstroth boxes here, but I have also insulated this box as an insulated top feeder. And on the back boxes, instead of going three long like the Monk Hive, this honey chamber here is side by side. Let's take this off so you can look at it. I use transparent inner covers on my hives so that I can take it off the lid and peek in without the bees flying up in my face. So as you can see, the frames go front to back, just like they would in a vertical hive. But the frames in this box also go front to back, like they would in a vertical hive. So this is really, when people say a horizontal hive is like a tree that has fallen down, this is actually what it's like. If you had a tree with a beehive in it, all the cones would be going vertically. If it fell over, they would still be in line. That's what this type of hive is like. And you can see they're working back here, putting honey in this honey box. So in between these two boxes here, you can't see it, but in there is a queen excluder that I slapped over the holes that connect these boxes. So once you kind of experiment a little bit with using existing boxes and making holes in the wall that they share, you start looking at, well, we can make this a little simpler if we make one long box. And so this version over here is exactly that. It's one long box, okay? And in between there's a shared wall in this box. Let's see if I can get this off. So again, the frames are going front to back, and this shared wall is where the frame rest is, and there is a queen excluder right there. So on this side, it's the brood and the queen and all the brood nest, and back here, it's the honey box. So that's probably a similar type of hive to the Monk Hive, the Russian Monk Hive. The Monk Hive has 3 chambers. Now this one holds 15 frames because that's pretty much my reach here comfortably to raise a frame up. So that's why I made this one 15 frames. But after using this a while, I decided it was just a little too big, and it wasn't exactly how I wanted it. Especially if I have to add space, there's no way to expand this honey section on this hive. And so then I developed the Inline Hive here. Now I did make this in 2 boxes, but the boxes are joined as one. And really I just made it in 2 boxes because it's easier to make that way. And inside you can see the frames are going the same direction and the bees are working. The difference with this hive is this is 12 to 13 frames. It's a square Langstroth. So a frame here, one of these Langstroth frames, can go this way or this way. It's a complete square box. So basically you have 2 square boxes. And I also put entrances on both ends. The reason I do that is sometimes when managing these hives, when the brood box gets real full up and you want them to build in the back a lot more, you can move a frame or 2 of capped brood into the back. And when you do that, sometimes there's drone brood. Okay, well, remember there is a queen excluder here in between these. And so if a drone emerges on the back here, it won't be able to get out of the hive through the front because drones can't fit through that queen excluder. And so what you have to do is give them some sort of entrance in the back. Now this back entrance is barely used by just a handful of bees. And it's really just so that drones can escape. If you don't care about it or you cut your drone brood out or something like that, well, you don't need that. But I like to have the entrances on the back. It allows for a little bit of flexibility in the design. And you can see this hive is rocking and rolling in here. Lots and lots of bees throughout. Actually, right here you can see that's the queen excluder. See those little bars right there? That's the queen excluder between the 2 boxes. And the bees just move right through that. There's holes. I cut slots in those walls that line up together right there. I cut slots all the way to the floor so they have plenty of passageway to go in between. And I try and line up the slots to line up with the seams, the spaces in between frames. So that's where the slots are. I don't know if it's actually necessary. I've tried lots of different patterns with these on the slots and the holes. You can use holes, you can use slots, you can have them just like that first one over there. All they have is a shared bottom board. It's a 1/2 inch gap at the very bottom below those box walls. That's all they have. And as you can see, it works just fine. So I don't think it's necessary to go get too fancy on your dividing wall. Although the bigger the space, it seems the faster they connect the 2 chambers together. So like on this one has a big open space with a queen excluder in the middle, and they move back and forth like it's one giant chamber because it effectively is. And that seems to work really well. So there we are. Those are inline hives. There are a couple versions from Germany that are a little bit different. They use a different frame. It's a frame that's taller than it is wide, or taller than it is long, I should say. And It's called the Golz Hive, and there's also the Bremer Hive. Those are variations on the same design. And they are similar in design to this. The main difference between the Golz and the Bremer Hive is that one has an entrance here, you know, where the frames are going this way. What we would say in America is that it's a warm way entrance. They have an entrance, a warm way entrance, whereas the Golz Hive has a cold way entrance, like this, where they come in the end of the frames. So the Bremer Hive, you work from the back of the hive, so the entrance is away from you and you work from the back. And from the Golz is like my inline hives, where you work from the side. On all of the hives, you work from this orientation to the frame. It's just the entrances are different on different designs in relation to where the beekeeper stands. But that's all there is to it. If you guys have any questions about inline hives, post them in the comments or send me a message. I love talking about these. I have lots of documentation on these different types on beesource.com. It's a forum for beekeepers. If you look up inline hives, you'll find all my discussions on there and the evolution of these designs. I think my next version is going to probably be 3 chambers long. A friend of mine, Charles, on BeeSource made one of those, and it's basically this hive. Well, it's more like this hive. It's the 12 to 13 frame model. He has 3 boxes long. It's all one shared compartment, and they have queen excluders like that on either side of the center box. And he has a warm way entrance on that end, and so you work it from this end. The bees come and go from that end, and this side is a honey box, and this side is a honey box. And it works really, really well. And when you think about it, 24 deep Langstroth frames is a lot of honey. It's, you know, almost 200 pounds of honey without lifting a single box. Now this design that I have here, when you have a square box, you can actually super it, but you put the super going the other way. I haven't had a need to yet, but you can do that. I prefer to just pull out cap frames as they cap them and extract them and return the comb back to them, back to the hive, and then you don't need as much space in your hive that way. But if you do need more space, a 3-chambered one like Charles has, that's probably going to be the next design I play with here, just to experiment with it. Another version is to have a wider honey section like this one is. This is kind of the T style. It makes a T, this hive, and so your brood box doesn't have to be that big. 10 frames is great, or like on this design here, it's 10 frames and a feeder. That's about perfect. 10 to 12 frames is perfect for a brood nest in my climate. But the honey box needs to be considerably larger in this climate. 20 frames is pretty good. You know, if you had 25 or 30, it'd be a little bit better. That one over there only has 10 frames. This one only has 12 frames. That one only has 15 frames in the honey section. So you can get filled up real quick if you're not on top of them. Now I'm out here every week, and so I can monitor them and see how they're doing, so they don't run out of space and get swarmy on me. But anyway, that's an overview of the inline hives, the different types. Like I said, visit beesource.com and type in to the search bar, type in inline hives to get more information about how I built these, how the concept has developed over the years, And let me know if you make one of these. I really like them. They're very comfortable to work. Everything's at a comfortable level. You don't have to lift big heavy boxes. It's easy on your back. You guys have a good day, and let me know what you think.